not the royals.
It brings me great sadness that it has come to this.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex gone rogue, turning their backs on a fairy tale life. Centuries of tradition and the monarchy itself.
The Queen, the royal family, have lost this one.
Was it him?
He'll always serve his Queen and his country, but he now needs to serve Archie and Meghan.
Was it her?
We are dealing with one of the world's great manipulators.
Or was it all because she was different?
You see, in Britain, you're allowed to break the mold as long as you are of a certain breed.
In a TMZ investigation, we cut through the noise, the lies.
I never thought that this would be easy, but I thought it would be fair.
The rumors and speculation. We know what really went down.
They knew that once this news came out, it was going to be massive.
Harry and Meghan, the royals in crisis.
Good evening, I'm Harvey Levin. The royals are reeling. Harry and Meghan have turned Buckingham Palace upside down by bolting. We have the inside track on why they left. Allegations of racism, sexism, missteps by Harry and Meghan. Over the next hour, you will have a clear picture of what really went down at the palace and why.
Harry and Meghan have started a new life in Canada, and some Brits are livid.
Meghan Markle is one of the most ruthless social climbers I've ever met in my entire life.
Piers Morgan is editor-at-large of DailyMail.com, and he has railed on Harry and Meghan for being self-absorbed and disrespectful to the Queen.
When the rest of the world really sees this for what it is, which is a power grab by two ego-mad, self-obsessed, virtue-signaling, progressive young people who basically stamped their feet till the Queen rolled over.
It's the very type of attack some say drove the couple out of the country.
Once Meghan and I were married, we were excited, we were hopeful, and we were here to serve. For those reasons, it brings me great sadness that it has come to this.
What the problem really is here, I think, is a small but extremely powerful faction of the tabloid media.
Afua Hirsch is a scholar on race and British history.
From the very beginning, they have tried to hound Meghan Markle out of Britain, and I think what we're seeing now is the success of that project, but what they didn't bargain for was that in leaving this country, her husband would want to go with her.
And now the criticism of the couple is getting even more ferocious, with some accusing Meghan of strong-arming a submissive husband into abandoning his family.
I think Harry's been as bad as Meghan, to be honest. I mean, how he's gone from being a party boy, fun-loving, hugely popular, charismatic, charming young man that everybody loved, to this wet drip being pushed around by his older American wife in this way. Anyone who thinks she wants to get out of the fame element of all this is living in cloud cuckoo land.
This idea that this black woman has some kind of dark magic over this poor innocent man, that she's bewitched him, corrupted him against his family, that she has all of this sinister power. You know, as a black woman, these are things that I've heard spoken against black women over centuries.
To understand what drove Harry and Meghan out of Great Britain, we dug deep to figure out who they really are.
She wasn't mean, and she wasn't bitchy. She always had her eyes kind of set on, you know, bigger goals.
11, go.
Meghan Markle began her TV career in 2006 on Deal or No Deal, alongside fellow briefcase model Claudia Jordan.
As a woman of color, the way she's been dragged through the press, you know, over there and, you know, across the pond, and the fact that Harry is now standing by his woman and fighting for his family, that says a lot to me about Meghan's character.
She is a deeply warm and caring person.
Liz Kors was Meghan's sorority sister at Northwestern.
She is very thoughtful in what she does and what she chooses to, you know, put her energy into. A great listener and someone who really kind of cares about the world and the people around her.
Then there's the truth Brits just don't want to admit. We know Harry never wanted to be a royal.
Harry, for years, has talked about wanting a normal existence.
Victoria Arbiter is a CNN royal correspondent.
He wishes he hadn't been born a member of the royal family, how he'd love to run away to Africa and save animals.
Harry has always struggled with the notion that he is a prince.
Katie Nichol is a royal correspondent for Vanity Fair.
He struggled with so much of it, not least the media spotlight. And I always remember him saying once to me, I just want to be able to get on the tube.
Fact is, Harry was happiest as a grunt soldier.
I think the military made him into the man he is today.
Dean Stott befriended the prince during military training.
It gave him confidence in an individual, and it's probably the only time in his life that he actually felt normal.
It's bizarre. I'm out here now. I haven't really had a shower for 4 days. I haven't washed my clothes for a week, and everything seems completely normal. It's very nice just to be here and be with all the guys and just sort of mucking in as one of the lads.
The reality was, it was the life he preferred.
James Wharton, who was under Harry's command in a 3-man tank crew, is telling this story for the first time.
When our tank broke down, the driver said something like, I think we need to suck some diesel out of the tank and put it in the engine. And Harry just, without pressure, volunteered to do it. And there's this mad situation where Prince Harry is literally sucking diesel out of a fuel tank. And, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say to myself, geez, that's Prince Harry doing that.
When young Harry wasn't at war, he partied hard, mostly remembering what his mom taught him.
Princess Diana had a mantra for herself and for Harry and William, which was, look, if you're going to be naughty, just don't get caught.
Harry successfully observed Diana's rules of the road until a notorious visit to Las Vegas in 2012. The escapades began with a challenge to a gold medal Olympian.
We were at the Excess nightclub, and then he's like, dude, I really want to race you in the pool. And he immediately takes off his shirt and, like, jumps in, and we took off. And, well, of course, I'm a 12-time Olympian. I'm not going to let Prince Harry beat me. So I beat him, of course.
But that was just the beginning of an epic weekend. Later, the prince and some friends were in his hotel suite when things got really wild.
The next day, everyone was like, dude, you swam with Prince Harry? I'm like, yeah, I swam with Prince Harry. He's like, dude, were you there at the party when he was naked? I was like, what?
They are photographs taken in Las Vegas, and they are photographs of Prince Harry playing strip pool. I didn't even know that was a sport. He is now back in England, and there are a lot of unhappy people in the royal family feeling like shouldn't have done it.
Thank God I was not there too.
I think fun is part of his life. I think that's why he's so much loved here by the UK public.
Harry is hugely loved because he's different from the rest.
Mark Francis Vendelli, a British socialite and reality star, says Harry's loved for his escapades, but Meghan is different.
You see, in Britain, you're allowed to break the mold as long as you are of a certain breed, if one has to be old-fashioned about things.
In the summer of 2016, the then 31-year-old Harry finally met his real match, Meghan, falling deeply in love with the 34-year-old California divorcee and TV actress. Improbable? Well, not if you look under the surface.
I mean, let's look at who Harry's mother was and who Harry married.
Dr. Phil knows a lot about the royal family dynamic.
You know, his mother was sassy, beautiful, independent. And here he comes and marries this woman that is sassy, beautiful, and independent. She was not going to be a member of the flock and just follow along like a sheep.
We know, for Harry, there was another appealing fact about a bride who was already a celebrity.
Being a celebrity was a great draw to Harry. He knew that if anyone could handle the pressure, it was more likely than not going to be someone who'd had that experience in the public eye.
As bad as it was when they were dating, they had no idea how much worse it would get. Just ahead, we know what Prince William said to Harry that put him over the edge.
Harry was furious about it, absolutely livid.
A royal rift that may never be repaired. And later, will they make it in America?
If you are a marketer, this is a dream.
I wouldn't even wait for them to pitch. I'd be like, I'm in. Whatever you want. Yes.
So much more on Harry and Meghan, the royals in crisis, after this.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. Cuz my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin
The
clean.
kid does have a point.
My hand is clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we've learned the most important one will always be your own. Every yes, oh my gosh, yes, begins with K. Now get 20 to 40% off all bridal, only at K.
At H&R Block, you could get a refund advance up to $3,500 within minutes of filing. We could get money in minutes? Yeah.
Money in minutes. Money in minutes.
Money in minutes.
Money in minutes. Money in minutes. In minutes. What? In minutes? In minutes? Say what? 3,500.
They are freaking out.
Wait until they hear it's interest-free.
You could get a refund advance up to $3,500 in minutes. Interest-free. It's better with Block.
Long hair goals? Stop cutting. New L5 Dream Lengths with a cocktail of vitamins and fine castor oil. Strengthens hair's length and helps seal split ends. To save that last inch for the hair of your dreams. New L5 Dream Lengths from L'Oreal. You're worth it.
Sheldon, good to see you. Wonderful pistachios are available without any shells. That's all we're saying. No shells came out years ago. Why bring this to our attention now?
Well, your office was 8 blocks away.
His legs are so short. His legs are so short. I don't think you call them legs.
I really wanted to see how I could help the inequality in our education system.
One of the first things he did was send our kids to a writing workshop.
I'm proud of what he's doing in the community that he loves. It's extreme pride to represent where you're from and make people proud.
In this job, you learn to live with the enemy. But none of us get away clean.
William and Harry, the boys who were joined at the hip after their mother's death, are now all but estranged. And we've learned it's directly the result of Harry's engagement to Meghan.
William early on said to Harry, "We get that you love her. This is wonderful. We're happy that you're happy, but perhaps slow this down a little bit."
Harry was furious about it.
Dan Wooten, the Sun's executive editor, says Harry went ballistic.
Absolutely livid, angry with his brother, betrayed by his brother, and arguably their relationship hasn't recovered since.
Harry was caught up in this great love affair that he was experiencing, and also Harry was desperate to meet a wife, to start a family.
The reality is there's a very serious rift between those two boys. They barely speak. They hardly ever meet.
Harry tried to minimize the conflict.
Look, we're brothers. We'll always be brothers. We're certainly on different paths at the moment, but I will always be there for him, and as I know he'll always be there for me.
It's possible the brotherly rift has reached the point of no return. What's especially tragic, these boys seem to have an unbreakable bond after their mother's death.
These boys were Diana's greatest legacy. They really were.
Lisa Vanderpump is a reality star and entrepreneur.
I think that she would be very sad to see the day that they've separated, and ultimately that's what it's come to.
Dr. Phil says it's all pretty simple.
Probably the most influential voice in his ear had been William. and I think that's been replaced now.
Replaced by Meghan, and that ticked off the British media, which turned her into a human pinata.
If you compare, for example, the way Kate Middleton has been treated by the press, and you compare the way Meghan Markle has been attacked in the press, there's no comparison, even when they've done the exact same things, such as wear a one-shoulder dress or cradle their baby bump. Kate Middleton has been praised as maternal or beautiful, and Meghan Markle has been told she's trashing royal tradition.
There was tremendous optimism at the start of this union, but as the months unfolded, we could see that the press took something of a turn, responding to various actions that Harry and Meghan had taken. But with each new article that was beamed around the world, Harry and Meghan, I think, got more and more frustrated.
By the time they announced their engagement, it was clear Harry and Meghan had had it.
You can have as many conversations as you want and try and prepare as much as possible, but we were totally unprepared for what happened after that.
There's a misconception that because I have worked in the entertainment industry that this would be something I would be familiar with. We were just hit so hard at the beginning with a lot of mistruths that I made the choice to not read anything, positive or negative.
The wedding looked flawless, but behind the scenes, we know it was a nightmare that destroyed relationship after relationship.
Meghan and Kate had fallen out, and that was because of the way that Kate accused Meghan of speaking to her staff at Kensington Palace during the wedding fitting for baby Charlotte, when Kate was left in tears. And at that point, it was very, very clear that the relationship between Kate and Meghan just wouldn't recover.
And there was more. Meghan also outraged the palace with a request that the musty 500-year-old St. George's Chapel be sprayed with air freshener before the big day. But the Queen was having none of it.
I think there is a feeling that the Queen, the royal family, really have bent over backwards to give them everything that they wanted, the wedding that they wanted, the home that they wanted, and yet they still seem to present themselves as being hard done by. Some people interpret that as being professional victims.
They wanted to go to war with the British establishment. They actually wanted to go to war with the monarchy itself, and there has been a civil war going on.
We're told some of Meghan's friends were hurt when she didn't invite them to the wedding reception.
The moment Meghan Markle no longer perceives you to be useful, it doesn't matter how close a family member or friend you are, you get chopped. She's done it to almost all her old friends. She's now acquired new friends: Oprah, George Clooney, David Beckham, Elton John. And she's done it to her ex-husband. She's done it to most of her family, 99% of them. None of them were at the wedding apart from her mother. She's done it to her father, who she's disowned.
Of course I miss her.
Thomas Markle, Meghan's dad, was conciliatory when he spoke with us.
I love her. She's my daughter. I miss her very much. I'm not thrilled with what's going on or what they're doing right now, but of course I miss her.
This was a family who was going to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. An absolute nightmare for Meghan.
As Meghan's relatives came out of the woodwork, the royal family kind of hunkered down. That's what they do. They bury their heads in the sand.
But, you know, manna, absolute manna for the tabloid press.
After the wedding, the honeymoon period went by in a blink as the media onslaught went from bad to worse. Some of it grossly unfair, some of it self-inflicted.
Time and again, after the wedding, they did these ridiculous things, which I think brought on them perfectly justified criticism. Whether it was for her ridiculously over-the-top baby shower in New York with all the celebrities flying back on George Clooney's plane, whether it was refusing to pose for pictures at Wimbledon in a way that Diana always used to, whether it was preaching about climate change and then getting on Elton John's planes every 2 minutes at the same time.
I do think she rubbed some people the wrong way early on, mainly the Queen of England. And when you do that, that creates a problem, not just with her, but with the press who loves the Queen.
And we're told there's another reality here. Meghan is used to a glamorous lifestyle, and you may not know this, but the palace is anything but.
The reality of royal life, apologies Meghan, is not glamorous. I mean, if you go into one of the Queen's palaces, she's got little heaters, she's got old furniture that's falling apart, usually the roof is leaking, the wallpaper is falling off. This is not Downton Abbey in 2020. You know, this is actually a relatively modest life.
Coming up, two duchesses, very different. Why Kate fit in and Meghan didn't.
Kate entered the farm and slowly became part of it. Meghan has acted in a different way.
And up next, shocking allegations of racism in the media and inside the royal family.
He married a beautiful, classy, educated, woke woman who happens to have a parent of color. And if that's an issue for you instead of someone's character, the royal family.
Much more of Harry and Meghan, the royals in crisis, after this.